What up, folks? It's your pal, Coach Vino, and this is the Glass Half Full podcast where we turn setbacks into comebacks. Let's go.
Yo, everybody goes through setbacks, but don't let these setbacks make you take a step back. Step back from the situation, put your brush down, envision the picture you're painting, because everybody goes through.
All right. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Coach Vino, the people's bartender, and your certified coach from the Boogie Down Bronx. Well, welcome to the show. If you are new here, I'm glad to have a new listener. Make sure you check out some of my old content. If you are a returning listener, thank you for sticking with me and helping you and me and everyone else be the best version of ourselves. So today I want to talk about a very simple truth, very, very simple. And it's so obvious, though, that it's easy to ignore it. And that is that the same effort is going to get you the same results. That's it. That is literally the whole message. But stick with me here because I want to dig into what that really means, all right? Especially if you're like me, you're a middle-aged guy, juggling responsibilities, goals, setbacks, and maybe even some regrets, but you're still trying to level up. And let's be real, at this stage of our lives, we already know the basics, right? We've read the books, we've listened to the podcasts, including this one. Maybe we've even been to a few seminars or some coaching sessions, right? But knowing something and doing something are not the same. Most of us are putting in just enough effort to maintain where we are, but not enough to grow and not enough to transform. It's like you're treading water. You're doing just enough to tread water. But then what happens is we get frustrated that nothing's changing. But here's the thing. If you wake up every day and you give 70%, you're going to keep getting 70% of the results. You might be surviving, you might be coasting, but you're not building anything new. You're not moving the needle. You understand? Same routine, same grind, same energy, same thoughts. Guess what? You're going to keep waking up in the same spot. And we do this in all areas, relationships, career, finances, even in your own mindset. We complain about things not moving forward, but we're not putting in the kind of energy that creates the movement that we're wishing for. It's like trying to drive to a new destination, but you're still using the same directions that you used to get you to the old place, right? If you use the old directions, you're just going to end up in the same town, the same street, and the same dead end you were at before. You understand? You need to create a new game plan, a new roadmap. And here's the challenge. If you want different results, then you need different effort. That doesn't mean hustle yourself into the ground. I'm not talking about, burning out or chasing perfection. I'm talking about just being intentional about getting there. Maybe that means waking up an hour early or setting boundaries with your time. Maybe it means not skipping the things that make you uncomfortable, like the phone call you need to make or hitting the gym or having that conversation with someone. It could mean taking a risk, doing something that you've been avoiding because you're scared it won't work out. But listen, if what you're doing now isn't working, then what exactly do you have to lose by trying something new? And I know it's not easy, especially at certain points in your life. You've built habits over decades. You've carved out your comfort zones and they're nice and cozy, right? The perfect place to be. You might have people in your life who say, why are you trying to change things right now? What's the point? Or just be grateful that it's good enough, right? But if you're listening to this podcast right now, then good enough isn't good enough anymore. Not for your peace of mind, not for your growth, and not for your legacy. Understand something, that you're never too old or never too late, you're never too stuck to shift the results that you're getting. But it's only going to work if you start to shift your efforts. Here's something you could try today, right? Pick one area of your life where you feel stuck, just one. And then ask yourself, have I really given a new level of effort here? Or am I just repeating the same old moves and hoping that somehow it magically improves? But you got to be honest with yourself, okay? No judgment. You're looking for clarity here. Okay? Then do something, anything that breaks the old pattern. Okay? Show up with 10% more effort or 10% more intention, more courage. And that small shift, it's going to stack. It's going to build momentum. It's going to tell your brain, hey, we're starting to do things differently now. And once you start to do things differently, you will start to get different results, period, end of story. So if you take anything from today's podcast, I want you to take this. Same effort equals same results. But different effort, that's where the change begins. So start rising the bar just a little at a time, because you've got so much more in the tank than you think. All right, folks, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you think there's someone out there that might benefit from listening to this podcast, please be sure to share with them. Remember, sharing is caring. If you or anyone you know would like to work with Coach Vino, you can visit my website at coachvinollc.com. And remember, folks, if nobody else tells you, Coach Vino appreciates you. Cheers.
I find it hard to reveal these thoughts and express what I'm feeling in a hip-hop form. But I was born to succeed, so as long as I breathe, ain't nobody on this earth gonna crush my dreams. Yo, this might be the end of the verse, but this is just the start of a new beginning. Word.